Welcome to the Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. I'm so happy you found us. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber One News Radio, KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. T-minus 7 days. Can you believe it? Good morning, Spencer. 7 days until the 2020 general election.
Oh, yeah, that's when, that's the big one, right? That's the one with the presidents and stuff, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm
Where
kidding.
have you been living under a rock?
That's the one class I did well in was civics. I'm good.
Either under a rock or I rock. I don't even know. Good morning to you. It is cold out there. It was sub-freezing when I woke up. How's it looking for today, the rest of the week?
It's looking nice for today. Cloudy skies, a high of 56. Right now, it's in the mid-30s through much of the South Sound, low and mid-30s. And chance of showers on Friday. But other than that, it should be kind of what we've been getting, partly cloudy skies and some sunshine.
Great conversation on the air today as it's a special Sheriff sit-down. We talked with Dave Windham and Sheriff Salisbury yesterday about COVID and the rise in numbers, and we'll have some more information on that. But today on the show, in lieu of an official Sheriff sit-down, we're going to have some of the great representation from the Shelton High School NJROTC in, and they're talking about, well, kind of what they do generally, and then the cleaning effort that they put forth to clean up and gussy up the front of the sheriff's office. It looks beautiful. There's some video out there. I'm going to try to link it to the interview so you can see them in combination there. Also from Community Lifeline, Barb Weza on to update how they've been doing since COVID and through now with the temperatures getting colder. Community Lifeline, a great nonprofit, and so big thanks to Peninsula Credit Union for offering up time to nonprofits. If you're a nonprofit or you know of a nonprofit and like to get some information out on the air, get in touch with us and we can make that happen. Checked on the weather. What's going on with COVID?
Well, Mason County Public Health was notified of 10 additional Mason County residents that tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the total to 563 positive cases in Mason County. That's total from the beginning. To reduce the spread of COVID-19, everyone should, of course, wash their hands often, avoid close contact with others, keep that 6 feet without the mask for 15 minutes. Cover your mouth and nose with a mask when around others. Always cover your coughs and your sneezes. I can't believe how many people I still see just doing an open sneeze. I mean, it was already bad news before the pandemic, but definitely now.
We are having current and continuing conversations in the household about the realization of this fall and winter. And it's going to be tough. You know, for 7 or 8 seasons, Game of Thrones has been warning us. Winter is coming.
Yep.
And winter is coming, and I'm fearful of how this is all going to work out. It was encouraging yesterday to talk to Dave Windham about the fact that down in South America, their flu cases are way low because people are taking the flu shots and masking and things like that. But I just am concerned about the interactions, and we're talking about ramping up casual mask wearing even in more public settings here at home that we haven't been in the past. What about you? Are you thinking to change anything that you've been doing so far for the winter? Or
I don't know. Not really, I don't think. Just obviously a lot of events that we would do normally during the holidays, like public caroling and, a lot of the events that we have in Christmastown, USA. I mean, that's the sad part is that I'm not exactly going to be in a crowd of people. And I'm glad we set the world record last year, right? Remember with the Christmas tree lighting? I mean, imagine that event during a pandemic. I mean, they may have been able to do it still and just kind of space people through the maze, but it wouldn't have felt the same, I don't think. And I think that's the hardest part. Not so much thinking the spread's going to be more, but just all the Christmas stuff we take for granted, like tree lightings and public ceremonies and caroling and things like that.
Election officials in the state are encouraging voters to remain vigilant to misinformation in just the 7 days leading into the election. Secretary of State Kim Wyman joining by several county election officials stressing that security enhancements that they have made over the year, plus the state's long history with voting by mail, should give voters confidence about the process. With us being 7 days away, we have continued to share on our website and social media a series of videos we've done in collaboration with the Mason County Auditor's Office and election departments, including Auditor Patty McGuire and Election Superintendent Fina Ormond. We've got videos on what to expect on this upcoming weekend and Election Day if you do come down to the office and desire to fill out a ballot in person. Spoiler alert, you're going to be standing outside probably with a lot of folks or in your car and then waiting to drop off the ballot. So you can avoid all that just by doing it at your kitchen table in the warmth of your home perhaps, and then get it into one of those drop box. We'll have full radio coverage Tuesday, a week from today, starting at 4 p.m. So get that ballot in so we can find out what happens a week from today at 8 p.m.
Well, other than the Wicked Witch, the biggest enemy of the Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz was fire. Remember, he always panicked when they'd light a match around him and he caught fire in one scene. There's a lot of dryness associated with Halloween. Jack-o'-lanterns, paper items and decorations, corn stalks. These are all fun things for Halloween, but they can truly be scary if they catch on fire. So by planning ahead, you can make this Halloween a fire-safe one. Use battery-operated candles, flashlights, or glow sticks in jack-o'-lanterns instead of flames. They're safer than real candles and can prevent kids' costumes from catching on fire as well. If you do use real candles, place lit jack-o'-lanterns out of the path of trick-or-treaters and away from flammable decorations such as crepe paper and corn stalks. Show children how to stop, drop, and roll if their costume should catch fire. Have them practice stopping immediately, dropping to the ground, covering their face with their hands, and rolling over and over to put the flames out. Make sure all smoke alarms in your home are working. Keep exits around your home clear of decorations so nothing can block an escape route.
Again, today on the show, some great students from the Shelton High School in the NJROTC program. And from Community Lifeline, Barb Weza updates us on their efforts to help those less fortunate in our community. That and more, all coming up on this Daybreak, the 27th of October. Good morning to you.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes on the Daybreak Show. I've got three great guests in studio right now. Normally, this is the time for the Sheriff Sit Down, presented by our great friends at our Community Credit Union. And we're going to get to Sheriff's information here. But first, from the Shelton High School's NJROTC, Taylor, Hunter, and Hope are with me. How y'all doing?
Really good.
Great. Really good.
Awesome. Let's just go down the line and introduce yourselves to everybody, and then we'll get into the reasons why you're here. Hope, let's start with you.
I'm Cadet Lieutenant Commander Hope Cassidy. I am a senior, and I'm the commanding officer of NJROTC at the Shelton High School.
I'm Cadet Lieutenant Middleton. I'm a senior now, and I'm the 8th grade liaison officer.
Nice.
My name is Cadet Ensign Taylor Philpott. I'm going into my junior year, and I am the public affairs officer.
Very cool. I was talking with Sheriff Salisbury last week, and then I saw some video, and we're going to try to put the video to this interview as well. But a lot of the folks from the NJROTC were in front of the Sheriff's office kind of cleaning this up, and it looks beautiful now. So I kind of want to just talk about how that came to be and how that kind of rolls into everything that you guys do in the community. So Hope, let's start with you. How did you first find out that there was a need to maybe clean up the front entrance of the Sheriff's office?
Well, my job as commanding officer is I discussed everything with the instructors, and so Commander Hood, he brought that event to me, and so then I talked to my cadets and we arranged for people to come up. She was in charge the first day and did probably the majority of the work, but yeah, so we get events told to the commanders, and they bring it to the students, and then we arrange for the events.
There was a lot of work put into this, Taylor. Tell me a little bit about everybody coming together and what materials were used and needed. I saw you took the letters off the sign and everything.
We did do that. I was working with the CEO and the senior chief, who's not here right now, and we got it all organized to get our 2 separate working parties for the 2 different days. And we trimmed the hedges, so we had people manning the ladders, manning the trimmers. We had people scraping the letters off the sign. We pressure washed it, we cleaned it, we put new letters on, we cleaned some of the roofing. There was a lot going on. The cadets worked really hard on that.
And Hunter, let's talk a little bit about kind of the way NJROTC is seen in the community often through the year. We'll see you adorned in your red sweatshirts or shirts, helping to navigate traffic on big events, but because of the virus and everything, we've had to put a pause on a lot of those things. But still, you guys need to get out into the community and help out, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We do our best to put ourselves out there into the community, especially with this COVID times, because a lot of people are canceling events and such. But I do believe on November 2nd and 3rd, election days, the cadets will be going down to the auditor's office, I believe, to help out with general parking for the ballot, people turning in their ballots. So that's good. I am grateful for those who do provide us with the community service events during these COVID times, because this shows the community gives so much to us, and it's only fair that we can give something back, especially those who run Oyster Fest and things like that. They provide a lot for us, so it's only fair that we give back.
Tough that we weren't able to do some of those events this year, huh?
I know. I love Oyster Fest so much.
It's always a good one. As we look ahead to next year and how NJROTC and the Shelton School District, Shelton High School, kind of move forward, do you guys have plans looking ahead, or is it still kind of up in the air based on where we're at?
Well, like this year, we've been able to adapt pretty well. We use Zoom for our daily class periods, and then we're actually doing drill in person right now.
Oh, wow.
So we are hoping that if this continues with COVID, that we are still able to push from progress forward, because we have been able to. We've been able to issue uniforms to New Year's and do drill in person, and we have Zoom meetings for our booster club meetings and staff meetings and for the class periods. So hopefully it doesn't impede our progress.
And we know we have some other folks in studio right now who are part of NJROTC, and even some newer, younger members. You guys are looking to bring people into the high school program, of course, and you've got some 8th graders that are interested. And how does that work with the liaison there?
So for my job as the liaison officer is to be the direct link between the 8th graders and the upperclassmen, as well as the first years that come in. The 8th graders are treated no differently than any other first year would be. They get the exact same opportunities, whether they be community service, drill team, things like that. Actually, Philpott's sister is a part of the program, a part of the pilot program for the 8th graders, and she's been a great addition. Really, to get in, they just have to talk to their principal and counselor. They have to get approval from the principal and counselor, and they'll be switched into the class. It goes after school. But right now we have 7. Max we can have is 15, and I'd like to get those numbers up, because that's future leadership being developed in my eyes right there.
For sure. And Taylor, give the pitch to either a parent listening or a student listening onto why they should join NJROTC at Shelton.
Although our program is funded by the Navy, it is not strictly a military program, and that's so important to emphasize, because everybody thinks, oh, if you join ROTC, you have to go into the military, which isn't true. We have doctors and lawyers in the making. We have all sorts of things. So it has community service opportunities, so much great leadership. It helps us get jobs in high school. We teach interview skills, we get connections. It's so helpful, and you meet so many new people, so many great people, and so many awesome opportunities. You won't regret it, I promise. And
I know over the years I've had a great opportunity to interview many of the students that have come through the program, and all top-notch leaders in the making moving forward. Taylor, Hunter, Hope, thanks for coming on and talking with me about that program there to clean up the front of the sheriff's office. And as you guys start doing more things into the end of this year and into next year, let me know and we'll get them on. Of course, this is a special sheriff sit-down presented by our great friends at our Community Credit Union. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
How's it going, everybody? Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes on the Daybreak Show via Zoom video conference from Community Lifeline. Barb Weza, how are you doing, Barb? It's good to see you over Zoom.
I'm well. How are you?
I am well, thank you. It's been a real trying time across the nation, and I can only imagine that with Community Lifeline and the COVID outbreak from March, you've had to really adjust some of the ways that you're able to help serve the folks in the community. Let's kind of just go back to March and until now and what has happened, and then we'll get some new information out there.
Yeah, so in March, we would have been closing our shelter. the end of April. And in March, the pandemic hit, and we were approached by public health. And since March, we have been a part of the emergency management team to provide quarantine, isolation, and general population rooms for those that don't have a place to shelter in place, with a bed capacity of 50. And so since March 27th, we have been open 24/7. We have increased our staff. We have doubled our staff. We are now providing 3 meals a day, hot showers, case management, peer supports, round the clock, 7 days a week. And we are also working with community partners such as the Shelton Police Department to provide crisis response to folks on the streets, and are doing a lot of outreach to bring folks in as well so that they have a place to shelter in place.
Community Lifeline is in downtown Shelton, and you can always find more information at cllshelton.org or on their Facebook page, facebook.com/Mason County Homeless. Community Lifeline, a 501c3 nonprofit. I want to thank Peninsula Credit Union for offering time to nonprofits to come on and talk about some of these issues. As we move into the fall now, all the reports are indicating that this could be a real tough fall and winter for folks. And I can only imagine, especially for those who frequent the Community Lifeline with perhaps all the housing issues and medical needs and things like that. What are you looking at to move into the fall? And what kind of help is in the community that you're looking to try to maybe get some extra help or volunteers?
Yes, absolutely. So through all of this, we up until March, we relied almost solely on volunteers for our meal program. And now we have increased that. We have tripled that. We're serving 3 meals a day. And so we lost the majority of our volunteers. We had to hire a staff. So that has increased our funding needs as well. For those of you that are looking for ways to help, you can call us at 360-462-4439. And we have many, many opportunities for volunteer and for donations that we are in need of right now. We are going to be helping folks through the winter. Again, we are doing outreach, trying to bring people in. And so our outreach teams, because we are a housing agency, we do case management and assist people to also be a pathway towards permanent housing. And so our shelter and our programs here are all very transitional. And so this is a nice transition. Get people off the streets, get them in where it's warm, where they can be taken care of. We can assess their needs, connect them with resources, including housing.
One of the things on your Facebook page, about a month ago, you posted a little note about you, I'm assuming, sitting where you're at right now in your office, and you're able to hear the sounds of music and laughter and conversation downstairs. That's gotta mean a lot to you.
It really does. Some days we are so weary because we have just had so much more put upon us, but that night I was sitting here at my desk doing some work and just listening to the sounds in the building. And we really are building a community here. People were playing music. They were talking about the good dinner they'd just been served. They were talking about the appointments they had to go to the next day. We had a new woman that was checking in that night. 2 of our residents here were helping her make her bed and get settled in. It was just such a warm feeling, and we're just feel so blessed that we're able to provide to those in our community, our neighbors in need that don't have housing. We are also very thankful to have this building in the downtown area of Shelton. And as I said earlier, we are working to remodel this building. We are making many improvements so that we can do many more things from this building. we know there is a great need.
Community Lifeline, again, provides basic needs of services of meals, showers, emergency shelters, and more. You can find them in downtown Shelton, also online, cllshelton.org, and on Facebook at Mason County Homeless. We'll put those links here in the show notes. A great 501c3 nonprofit organization in Shelton, Mason County. Thanks to Peninsula Credit Union for putting some time up for Barb to come on the air and talk about the needs. If you've got the availability to help Community Lifeline, it is most needed and wanted and would be appreciated, especially as we move into the fall and the winter. Barb, good to see you. Good to hear that you and the Lifeline are healthy and safe as best we can here moving through this uncertain time. You be safe and well, and let's check in as we move through the winter.
Thank you very much.
iFiber One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Well, with just a couple of days until Halloween. Good morning, Spencer. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Today is National Black Cat Day, so don't be superstitious, but celebrate these beauties. Also a day to seek and raise awareness on the low adoption rates for black cats. Are you superstitious of black cats or anything in general?
Not at all. We had a black cat. She was awesome, and I don't really understand superstitions that much. It's all in the mind. You know, we trick ourselves into believing something's bad luck or a rabbit's foot's good luck, and we avoid things, we rub things, and I think it's all in our head myself. But I love black cats. They're beautiful. It's sad that the adoption rate's so low for them.
Yeah, and apparently black dogs also face similar adoption problems. So it's not about the myth and the mystery here. These are, just like any other animal. So keep in mind that today. Of course, black cats are very commonplace when it comes to the time right now with Halloween and the witches and things like that. My stepbrother had a black cat named Sawzell. It was a great cat. Mm-hmm. And superstition-wise, for me, the only thing that I do, for whatever reason, is if I won't walk fully under a ladder. Yeah. If I go in and have to reach for something, I'll walk back out. Even if I'll walk through, I'll walk back out backwards. That's really the only. Yeah, and I don't know why. That's the only one I do.
Well, you do that one where every time we see each other in the morning, you throw salt over your back, but I think you're mixing up the superstitions. Maybe. Or you throw it at me. That's right. You throw salt at me.
I thought you were going to say the superstition was that every time I see you, I just turn around and run away.
That too.
Because I'm just superstitious of you.
Yeah, really. Oh, man.
Here's another one. Today is Navy Day, saluting all the military personnel who have served both past and present in the United States Navy. The United States Navy is the United States Armed Forces Naval Warfare Service branch, of course. Do you have any family in the Navy?
I'm sure I have. Mostly Army and Air Force and some Marines and stuff. But yes, I mean, we're a big naval area not too far away from us, of course. We got Bremerton and the shipyards and stuff. A very, very important part of the military, of course.
I had an uncle. Well, I called him Uncle Ed, but I think he was actually my dad's Uncle Ed, so he'd be my great Uncle Ed. And when we were down at his place down in Rescue, which is just north of Folsom,
yes,
outside of Sacramento, there would be pictures of battleships and things, and I never was old enough to sit and talk with him, but I feel like he was a captain on one of these big gunboats back in the war. Oh, wow. Or something like that.
That's great family history.
Pretty cool. Yeah, so a big thanks to everybody who has signed the pledge and joined the Navy here. More Daybreak coming up. It's a Tuesday morning here, the 27th of October, starting cold, and, well, we're moving into fall and winter here. More Daybreak coming up. Thank you so much for listening to today's Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. Again, I'm so happy and honored you found us and chose to listen. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of some of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on iFiber One News Radio KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Thank you so much again, and talk with you next time.